This NFL Props Week 3 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Game Time. Snag the tickets without the stress. Use promo code SGPN on your first purchase to save $20. Download the Game Time app and use code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play the Underdog Pick'em in college or NFL and win up to 20x in one game. Plus, every Sunday they're giving away $100,000. Use promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $500. Finally, we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com and use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today.
Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome, everyone, to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
I've recovered. I'm back.
Sad Ryan is gone.
Well, I'm not going to apologize for telling everyone to go fuck themselves last night, but I am back.
Tough loss.
And as an apology, I do want to apologize to one special person.
Yes.
Jake Paquin. I love the merch store. Jake, I'm wearing your shirt right now. Love you. Apologies for saying you could go fuck yourself. You're the only one that's cool.
Ryan was going off on everyone after the Giants lost there to the 49ers. Of course, that was last night, our DFS Picks podcast. We're doing our NFL Week 3 props episode, and then doubleheader here in the desert. We will be going live 9 p.m. Pacific from the Circus Studio for our VSiN show, Sports Gambling Podcast Live. We got our first touchdown bets for Sunday. We have SGPN Idol. We got Katie Mox calling in. Derek Stevens, of course. Great show as well. But this show, joining us in studio from the Veteran Minimum Podcast, Mr. Nick Deas. What's happening, Nick?
This is an absolute honor. I'm a fan of the show. You guys know I'm a fan of both of you gentlemen. As you can see right here, I got the merch.
Oh, look at that.
Check out the merch store. You
Also, Jake loves that too.
Any free merch store plugs, we are always down. Now, Nick, unfortunately, you are also a massive Giants fan. Before we get into the props, and we got a bunch of props, what any takeaways from last night? How are we feeling about Brian Daboll, the Giants in general? What do we got to do to fix your G-Men?
All right, I have a take. It's been going on for about 2.5 years now.
Oh, I love this.
And it has to do with sports betting, so I know it's going to get you guys a little stimulated.
All right.
I no longer back teams. I don't care what the number is. I know we bet numbers. We don't bet teams. But if you have a shit offense against an elite defense, the moment you're down 2 possessions, it's kind of a wrap. And we saw it with the Jets against the Cowboys. Unfortunately, I got talked into putting the Jets in the circuit contest. I'm like, dude, I hate backing shitty offenses. The moment they're down 2 touchdowns, they're not coming back. Nah, it's the number. Okay. We fell for the trap with the Giants against the Cowboys week 1. I'm like, yo, I'm telling you, Dak Prescott.
They're giving you 3.5. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong when Dak Prescott never loses to the New York Giants? That's what could go wrong. And then yesterday, it was just the moment that they went up and we're in cover, and I was like, yeah, it's a wrap.
Yeah, I don't like your tone. We need to work. We need to have a deep conversation.
You need to blame the refs. You need to buy into Dable calling the plays secretly.
But dude, you don't feel that way when you watch certain teams. There's just certain teams at the moment they go down 2 scores, even if they're catching 13.5, you just know there's no way they're going to cover. And there's a handful of teams, and my team just happens to be one of them.
You keep talking yourself into, well, hey, double-digit dogs in the NFL, you're not going to go broke doing that. And then, they're going to get that back door. But to your point, I would say to me it's less – and I think you hit on something good there, but to me it's more the offensive line versus a really good defensive line. Like, you can get that garbage time stuff if you're not totally mismatched at the line of scrimmage. That is where it really gets tough because the defensive line, when they know you're down 17 points, they know you're passing. These guys dream of these opportunities, just tee off on the offensive line. Like when the game's close, you got a chance because maybe you're going to run, maybe you're going to screenplay, whatever. But without Barkley, without Andrew Thomas, with the way the offensive line was, yeah, you guys are always screwed.
Yep. I'm out on this segment.
Ryan does not like this segment. Hey, we are only, we're recording this Friday night. Tomorrow, we got college football. Sunday, I cannot wait. Sunday, God's eye. We will be watching all 8 screens. And, of course, if you're watching NFL Sunday, you got to have the perfect game day food for me. Little Caesars. Are you kidding me? I cannot wait. I've already had it, and I can't wait to eat more. Little Caesars with the pretzel crust. The pretzel crust was one of the greatest inventions of all time. Pretzel crust with the pepperoni. Get the Caesars wings. It's NFL Sunday, it's about the bets, the games, the picks, but also just the accoutrements. You got your little snacks, your little drinks, your little chair. You got your whole setup. And, of course, make Little Caesars a part of that. And, we'll give out some hot and ready parlays later on for Sunday Night Football. We're going to be giving out our Sunday night first touchdowns. And Little Caesars just pairs perfectly with a sweet, sweet little parlay there.
Are these guys eating Little Caesars or having football sex? I don't know. I fucked that up because I was like, oh no, that's not what I want to say. I don't, and then I still said it. I'm sorry.
Yes. Well, Ryan, you need a little more Little Caesars in your life.
Maybe, yeah. Anything but bread for crust better than sex.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, pretzel crust.
There might be Italian people listening that I take back everything I just said.
Pretzel crust is always.
I have a reputation to keep up here.
Always a huge upgrade. All right, we are going to give out some of our favorite player props here, and you can get some of these numbers over at Underdog Fantasy. Of course, Fantasy Pick'em, you just get your higher, lower. They just upped it, 100% deposit bonus up to $500 now when you use the promo code SGPN. Of course, the $100,000 Sundays, where all you got to do is this week is just a higher or lower on Tyreek Hill. You're automatically entered. They're going to pick 10 people to win $10K each. Right now, Tyreek Hill's sitting at 89.5 total receiving yards. Nick, what would you do? Higher or lower on Tyreek Hill receiving yards?
I mean, I feel like it would be dumb if you go lower, right?
Yeah.
Especially
you're
if
just you're gonna be beating yourself up if you go lower.
Yeah, and especially with knowing him, he'll probably be wide open by 40 yards at least 1 or 2 times, and it just depends if Tua connects with him. But it's one of those where I feel dumber if I'm holding a lower ticket on a Tyreek Hill, right? I know it could be a little square, but I got to go higher.
Oh no, we have a blimp system here. Everything's higher.
Yeah.
Fill it up with helium. Get it loaded up. We're not going to explode up there. We're just flying high.
Especially with Jalen Waddle out. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
If you're taking an under, you're just going out of your way to be cute. You're going out of your way to your point, it's not going to be a fun watching unless you're a Broncos fan. I mean, they got carved up by Sam Howell. How can you take the lower on 89.5 receiving yards? That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that his whole box is gold squared. When you actually scroll in, I wonder if you can play any of his numbers in the same regard. We'll have to dabble. I got some extra credits. I'll dive in. I'll buy a couple extra.
Ryan, what do you got? First prop you like?
So I decided this week I would go with the approach of trying to win and being extra sharp. But I am also still taking all hires. Let's start in a matchup I love. The Commanders, the Bills, Josh Allen to throw an interception. Higher. Yes, please. Sean, I'm actually, we're back to the world where you can, if you're let's say you're shopping around for this in a standalone market, plus 105 is out there like they don't watch the games. Josh Allen's talking about not throwing interceptions. That's the exact time he throws interceptions.
It's clearly in his head.
Yes.
And the Commanders' defense seems pretty decent. I think this is them as a home dog's an interesting spot. Now they're talking about a ton of weather possibly for that game. That's really going to ugly things up. Maybe even look to the fumble market. I know Underdog had some of those.
No, you can go either way with Josh. You want to go fumble, you want to go interception.
I'm not going to hate on the interception, but I kind of like fumble slightly better there. Okay. Nick, what's one jumping out at you?
For those that don't know, I was actually a phenomenal kicker back in my day.
Ooh,
right?
really?
First team All City, New York.
Whoa.
You know.
Now wait, so how far did you get in the kicking game? Because my thing is, if you get to hit an extra point in high school, or, like what's the difference between? I'm always confused when. Like Roberto Aguayo, who is a really good college kicker. How can you be awesome at kicking in college and then just be so bad in the NFL?
I think that has to be
Just a mental.
It's all mental.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely all mental. And I played Division III up in Buffalo State. Shout out to the Bengals.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I mean, dude, I would never miss a PAT nowadays. Like, that's pathetic. You miss a 33-yard field goal, you got to just get cut. So I'm looking over at Carlson on the Green Bay Packers. They're at home going up against the Saints. It's a home opener for Green Bay. Higher, just 2 extra points? Are you kidding me?
Yes.
In this economy, I'm going higher, baby.
The extra point market is a fun, almost like alternate way to play a team total. You're dabbling with fire a little bit as far as if they go for 2 or if they somehow shank one. But I think it is a fun way to kind of play the team total over without getting down on the team total.
A little history with us as a show and kicking props as well. So thank you for busting down the dam. Now we can freely bring out our kicking props again.
Let's go.
I will say, funny enough, I almost had one on the card. It is fun, too, because you get the points, you get the extra points, maybe you go field goals.
Well, I also kind of like Green Bay in that game. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but you know,
I like Green Bay. Talk to me, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, and if I could go again, I know it's your show. I don't want to interject.
Yeah,
but
yeah, no, drop another one.
I got Jordan Love higher, 212.5 yards. They're playing at home, like I mentioned. It's the home opener. They're going up against the Saints, who, well, let's be honest, I was high on the Saints coming into the year. I know they're 2-0, but they haven't really
a little
been
fraudulent.
They haven't been tested, right? Ryan Tannehill in the first one, Bryce Young, who already got benched. Like, that's not looking too good in Carolina.
No, it's an ankle injury.
Oh,
It's an ankle injury.
Hey, listen, man, if you want to believe what you want to believe, that's on you. But I'm going to go with the fact that they haven't really played a legit quarterback. And I like Jordan Love. From what I've seen, he's a gunslinger. I like my guy on 3rd and 9 trying to pick up a first down, not what Mr. Kramer and I saw for almost a decade, Eli Manning on a 3rd and 8, hitting Ahmad Bradshaw on the flats. You know, I don't like that. So Jordan Love, a little bit of a gunslinger, and I think this game does have a little sneaky shootout potential. I think.
Well, I would say this, too. Inherently, when looking at some of these, you got Jordan Love 2 road games. Now, for a guy who doesn't have a lot of experience, now you're coming home and you're playing at home for the first time. If they're just basing these numbers off the first 2 games, how is there not a little bit of value on that?
Yeah, and if he gets, I know he's questionable right now, but he might get his number 1 weapon back in Watson. So
yeah.
I like it. I like it at home, 212.5. I'm going higher, and like I said, a little correlated action with the extra points there.
You're finding ways to correlate. Love that. For me, this one's easy. Adam Thielen, higher 3 receptions. Adam Thielen, it is. Leave the bin out for him because he's just picking up garbage. Bryce Young, to your point, has been benched. Andy Dalton's going to drop back. Just Andy Dalton dropping back in Seattle. He's just going to check it down to a guy he knows is going to be in the right spot, a guy who has a really good catch percentage. Is Adam Thielen going to break off crazy plays and have a bunch of touchdowns and be super athletic like Mike Evans? No, nowhere near. And shout out to Adam Thielen. Love that he did the show, and I would never call
right to our face.
I would never call him non-athletic to his face. He did say he was going to be back with the Vikings. He's on the Panthers now. He had 9 targets last game. He caught all 9 of them. I don't see why this is only set at 3. Like, who are they going to throw the ball to? They got to throw it to someone. It's going to be Adam Thielen, unless I'm missing some sort of Andy Dalton already has chemistry with some of these other receivers, but these other receivers just aren't getting open. Like, Adam Thielen's barely getting open, and I think it's just going to be a dump down fest to Adam Thielen all day.
I've already written an email to the book where I placed the first rookie to be benched.
Oh, really?
They're obviously going to call this an injury, but he obviously is getting benched.
Well,
right?
they randomly took him out for 3rd and 8 and then brought him back in. Like, dude, we're not idiots. We know what you're doing. They took him out, and then they're like, oh, shit, his parents are here. It's Monday Night Football. This is going to be embarrassing. We got to put him back in.
The guy who potentially could pop is Mingo. He definitely has been running the most routes and stuff like that. So maybe a change at quarterback. Be careful. But I'm shocked you're going with the guy who he kind of big timed us too. I don't want to go too hard on Adam Thielen, but
how'd he big time?
I don't remember. We were maybe short in the interview. It was kind of in and out. Kind of had stuff to do.
All right.
Like sign with another team and lie to our face that he wasn't going to do that.
Another anytime or another prop I like here. Give me Dameon Pierce anytime touchdown plus 165. Maybe I'm just. I have so many shares of Dameon Pierce in best ball. He really has gotten off to kind of a slow start. I think a lot of it is due to the Texans' offensive line issues, but I think against Jacksonville is a get-right opportunity, at least a little bit here for him and the offense. I think when they do get near the goal line, he's going to get some looks. Like, they don't have a lot of other guys who profile as red zone running backs, red zone targets. So, yeah, give me Dameon Pierce.
Got to wave to our fans, Sean. Sorry. We got some massive amount of fans out there banging down the glass.
Dameon Pierce, anytime touchdown, plus 165.
I feel like he could be our the unattainable lady this year. Dameon Pierce.
Just keep chasing
after him. He broke my amazing anytime parlay week 1, and so I'm just caution. And by the way, if you guys aren't aware, and I don't know if this was like a temporary thing, Sean, but earlier we were dabbling in the market over on Underdog Fantasy, and we saw the juiced up anytime props.
Yes.
Where some of these guys are maybe 1.5x, some are 2x, and so look for that spicy pepper next to them. That's how you juice it up. I launched 100 to 1 earlier.
When we were about to take off at the airport, Ryan was firing some off while we were in the state of California before we got here.
Isn't it funny how you're just like, I'm programmed when I get to the Burbank airport, lock in some DFS lineups, lock in some underdog stuff. All right, next for me.
Yeah, what do you got?
I'm not sure everyone at Underdog's watching all the games. TJ Hawkinson, higher than 5 receptions. Are we not watching what he's doing every game with this Kirk Cousins offense? I think it's going to be very popular to smash Kirk Cousins hires and overs and all sorts of, whether it's completions, yards. I'll just play it safe. Give me TJ Hawkinson to go higher than 5 receptions. Not only do you get a little push protection there, Sean, which in the format of Underdog, push protection is actually quite nice.
Yes, because like let's say you're doing the 3 for 3, which is essentially plus 600. Then if you push out, you still get paid out. Obviously not as much, but it's a nice little insurance.
So Hawkinson 7 receptions last week, 8 the week before. If you go back to the previous season and look at some of the targets he was receiving, it's just out of control. And I think when you look at the way that Kirk Cousins plays, it's perfect. When something's not there, even if it's 3rd and 15, bam, Hawkinson for 8 yards.
Well, of course, Kirk had that all-time check down when the game was on the line against the Giants and then threw short of the sticks.
That's
I think
why
it might have
take
been
this.
to Hawkinson.
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
Xavier McKinney made the tackle. He last year he had effort. This year maybe left it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was not too happy about that. But also with Hawkinson, right? Like, you don't have Thielen on there anymore like they did last year. We know about Jefferson. He's going to get if he doesn't get 15 targets a game, you're like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah, what are they doing?
And then you got Hawkinson for sure.
And clearly they're not happy with the running back situation.
No.
They just traded for Cam Akers. So, yeah, Hawkinson, it's been weird. He hasn't been getting many yards. Like, his average depth of target is horrible, but he's been awesome if you're just playing, like, full-point PPR reception stuff.
I mean, consistent, too. I mean, again, 17 targets the first 2 weeks of the season. Seems easy.
Nick, what do you got up next? What do you like here?
Dude, once again, I'm going to do a little correlation action.
Yeah, I love
it. Correlation is one of those words, guys, that when I say it, I just feel immediately a lot smarter than I look. You know?
That's how you know you're a sharp handicapper. Dropping core bombs left and right.
So here's the thing. I know you're going to get a kick out of this, Sean, because you're a DFS guy. I once took down a $50 single entry on DraftKings when the Jets played the Kansas City Chiefs many years ago, and they were like a 21, 22-point favorite.
I remember this game.
And everyone's like, they're going to run the ball with CEH. It's going to be a running game. And then I was thinking, well, maybe the Chiefs blow them out because Mahomes throws 6 touchdowns. He threw 5 touchdowns. That's how I feel about this game on Sunday against the Bears, right? There's some I'm a sucker for revenge games and spike games, I should say. Yeah, the Bears passed up on Mahomes.
Oh, he's on the list, huh?
He's on there. Yeah, they're on the list. Underdog has 22.25 fantasy points. In this economy is crazy.
Yeah, that is actually pretty crazy.
We're going higher. I think he's throwing 5 touchdowns. Over 2.5 on DraftKings right now is plus 105. Once again, a plus number in this economy is wild. Right? I think Mahomes goes out there, he throws 5-6 touchdowns. The offense has looked a little suspicious through the first 2 games. Could it be Bieniemy leaving? Wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't argue against it.
I mean, Baker looked good against that Bears defense. So you could imagine what a guy like Mahomes could do.
Oh, yeah. Like this has Kelsey 8 for 150 and 3 touchdowns. You could get Kelsey higher, 0.5 touchdowns. Oh, I'm losing my breath here. I'm getting so excited about this. Yeah, I think the Chiefs win.
You have to know when to come.
Yeah, exactly. You have to know it. With these props over here, it's feeling like that.
Oh, I'm in the same game, same position.
What do you got, Ryan?
Give me Justin Fields, 58.5 rushing yards.
Oh, I'm
higher.
with you. Yep, co-sign it.
Ding, ding, ding. I watched him hug the offensive coordinator. He first said that it was the coach's fault, then said, sorry, it's not the coach's fault, then made sure the cameras saw him hug the offensive coordinator. He then has gone on to say he feels like he's going to play a lot looser this week.
At one point he said, F it, I want to play ball. That means I'm going to run. It's not, F it, I want to play ball isn't something where it's like, I'm going to really study the playbook this week. I'm going to know my progressions. I'm going to know my reads. He said, F it, I want to play ball. How many times has he played ball in the NFL? Him playing ball is just him running all over the place.
Yeah, playing ball doesn't mean winning football games.
No.
He's played ball a lot more than he's won. 5 wins still he's sitting on. 5 career wins.
Schoolyard bullshit. That's what he means by going out there and playing ball.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, quick shout out to Game Time Tickets. Oh, Game Time is the place you got to go. Download the Game Time app. Use the promo code SGPN. Get $20 off your first ticket order. Cannot stress it enough. They got the low price guarantee. You even get a nice, you can look up like where your seats are, what you're looking at. Lowest prices guaranteed. If you can find a cheaper ticket in the same section, in the same row, they'll give you 110% of the difference. They're not gonna pay that out because they come up with that promotion because they know they have the lowest tickets. Nick, you were just showing us your tweets. You had a very negative ticket experience buying from a former NFL guy.
Yeah, the boy got scammed, but then it worked out in my favor because of the power of social media. So
Yes.
shout out to the Twitter universe, or X as they call it.
So
That's why you got to buy from someone reputable.
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly. Like Game Time Tickets. You don't want to be stuck finding out that some former NFL player is selling fake tickets.
He sold your ticket 10 times. It's awesome, though.
Well,
creativity.
That's why you got to head over to Game Time, create the account, download the app, use code SGPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create the account, redeem the code SGPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Digital footprints really have been tough for certain types of low bar criminals. It's like,
I'm going to scam people for tickets. Hey, wait, everyone knows you. You used to play for the team. No, they'll never catch me. No, literally, the guys who got ripped off are going to tweet about you, the former player, ripping people off for tickets.
Think about how often this happened previously when, like, the clout of someone was like, it's why Jordan never paid a debt.
Yeah,
and eventually allegedly got his dad killed.
What are you going to do about it? Lawrence Taylor, if there was anyone out there who was maybe needing a couple of need a little extra cash and got it.
Bill Belichick will stand on a table for Lawrence Taylor. That man pays his debts.
Okay. But you can imagine some guys like LT who, hey, I need a couple extra bucks. I'll just sell some fans some fake
You mean
tickets.
a guy who's willing to pick up the tab on some whoars to send over to the opposing team's hotel?
That's
true.
He did this.
Weak knees.
He was a very generous man. All right, so I think I've given out 1, 2, 3.
3 for me as well.
3. All right, Nick, kick it off. What else you got here? What do you like?
I think, listen, I don't know how easy it is or if they're just generous people over there at Underdog Fantasy. But
they don't all watch the football games.
It seems like it because TJ Watt, half a sack.
Oh.
I will be in attendance even though I did get scammed. Shout out to the Raiders. They did take care of the boy.
Raiders, great organization, made it right.
Tremendous. But half a sack, I mean, this guy, it's fun right now, guys, on a serious note from a pass rusher standpoint right now in the league. There's like 4 or 5 guys that I think are first ballot Hall of Famers, and they're just dudes that are just absolute game wreckers. He's one of them. Parsons, Chris Jones, Myles Garrett, and Nick Bosa. I think those 5 alone, like they're just fun to watch week in, week out. And TJ Watt, man, half a sack. I'm going higher on that one. That Raiders offensive line is not exactly the best in the league, and it's going to be prime time. I think.
Oh, I mean,
there's already a ton of Steeler fans.
Yeah, we were talking about this on our show that this is going to be like a Steelers home game, right? The Yins are coming in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's going to be terrible towels waving around. It's Sunday night. Everyone from Pittsburgh loves drinking. I think it'll be because I went to the Eagles game and it was a similar. Felt like 70% Eagles fans. I imagine similar split here. Just from being around town, coming in the airport, there's all these Steelers people. Raiders fans could be in trouble. I'll come Sunday night.
And you know what? Good, because there's not a fan base that likes to troll the Chargers and LA teams more about fans
true.
from other teams going in there. So to have every team from a popular fan base come in.
Raiders, it's interesting. They're probably the only team that goes to certain stadiums and has the dominant fan base, but then also has that happen to them. Like, I could not think of another fan base. Of course, switching L.A., Bay Area, now Vegas, but that's interesting. I think they're going to be outclassed, and I like Steelers in the game. I like T.J. Watt to have a sack. I'm with you.
And real quick, Sean, worth touting some CLV. Hopefully you listen to us in the preseason and you have T.J. Watt plus 900, maybe even plus 1,000 in the Defensive Player of the Year market. He's already down to plus 200, I believe. Maybe the co-favorite.
Yeah, with Parsons.
With Parsons.
That's who I was on, Parsons. And shouts to Jeremiah. We all know Jeremiah. He's on TJ Watt also from the beginning of the year. So
some guys, it's like it's more about like which one of these guys pops as like the clear MVP of the team. And like Minkah Fitzpatrick's a great player, but no one considers him even close to the top dog on that defense. And so it makes it really like again like who saw this coming? Watt's already the favorite. Like. They fucked that up.
Yeah. I mean, it was chalk for a reason because the dude is just a straight-up animal.
10-1 chalk. That's the one market where you do have to eat chalk.
No, for sure.
You got to look to chalk in that one.
And also staying with that, like last year, they were 8-2 with him.
Yeah.
And then 1-7 without, or 1-6 without. It's like, man, look, I know we only really value quarterbacks from a point spread standpoint, but man, I feel like he's definitely worth. Like if they were to tell us that he's not playing Sunday, I feel completely different about it.
100%.
Sure.
Get me out of that position.
Yeah, 100%.
Sell.
Speaking of position, this guy plays all the positions. Taysom Hill, anytime touchdown is plus 205. This is Taysom Hill's game.
It's the wrong number.
What are we talking about? He gets red zone carries. And obviously Jamal Williams is out. Kendre Miller, who is a smaller back who struggled with his conditioning, dealing with a hamstring injury the first couple games, he's coming out, or he's coming back. But like, who else is running the ball near the goal line? I don't get this.
I'm gonna push back on your smaller back. He may have looked small, but I want to say he's like 6 foot 230. He's not.
Really?
He's not a small guy. But to your point, I still do think Taysom Hill's the goal line back.
6 foot 220.
Oh, there you go. That's a good size. That's a good Sean. Oh, you getting into Oklahoma drill with a guy who's 6 foot 220.
He is a little bigger than I thought, but the hamstring issue is legit, and he's making his first start. Taysom Hill, they give him so many red zone carries and targets. It's crazy.
Think about how much the fans of Green Bay will appreciate his playing of the football game.
They're like, hats off to that Taysom Hill. He scored on us, but that's a man who loves a good cheese curd and beer.
Oh yeah.
Kramer, what else you got?
All right, so this is an on-brand play. I almost threw out a Tyler Algier prop because his yardage is basically set up for him to, if he continues this like 15 carries a game that he's getting, even in the last game, I think he would have to average 3 yards a carry to get there. But I bit the bullet and I took Bijan because that one's even more valuable. They have his total yards at 97.5. Let's assume he's going to get 20 touches between carries and pass receptions. Just like it seems like they ratcheted up his snaps last week. So 20 touches feels like a conservative estimate. You think this guy is only getting 5 yards a touch? Get out of here. I mean, especially against the Detroit defense. This one feels like we're going to be. I mean, again, Bijan. The days of Bijan being an sub $9,000 DFS player, I think, are going to be gone soon. So 97.5 rushing receiving yards, higher for Mr. Bijan, who, by the way, I mean, you got to start walking back your takes on him being the first round pick take on him. I mean,
what do you mean?
They're clearly making the Falcons better this year. That was my take all along, and you were like,
they're
draft
2-0.
capital.
They're 2-0.
Better team right now. That's all. Higher.
All right. You're telling me they don't win that game with Tyler Algier?
I don't know if they win that game without Bijan Robinson.
But you also have to replace it with, like, what other guy are they getting that high?
I don't know.
Okay.
A defensive player that's not looking like that?
No,
well,
don't you
think that both could be true? That it's a terrible pick to take a running back in the first round, but it's clearly helping them for this year.
Yeah, that's my take.
I'm with you on that. And also, like, it's crazy how week one the Chiefs lose and they hold them to, what, 21, 22 points, and everyone's like, oh, this Lions defense. And then last week they give up 38.
I know.
It's like
on Barry Sanders Day of all days.
You knew they were going to ruin that.
Yeah, this team is just terrible defensively. They've gotten banged up already. And I just think that it's going to be fireworks every time that they play them. And you know, not to give too much away, but Bijan Robinson, a little anytime touchdown score, minus 105.
So do you have one more prop here for us?
Well, mine was because I.
You did.
I think
too.
A little correlation action.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
For me,
I got my last one's great, so no pressure.
For me, my last one is Christian Kirk, higher 54.5 receiving yards. Zay Jones is out. Obviously, Ridley is going to get a bunch, but Christian Kirk was a huge part of their game one, and they looked really good, and they won. Now they're at home against the Texans team, which their secondary is still banged up a little bit. We'll see what happens with the safeties, but I do think, even though I like Houston and the points there, maybe even a live dog, I do think that Jacksonville is going to be able to throw on them. It seems like a bounce-back game for the Jacksonville receivers. And Christian Kirk, like, why not go back to what worked? He had a really good game one. In general, the passing game kind of got lost game two. So, yeah, with Zay Jones being out, he's going to be the clear number two. This feels pretty low.
Ridley, 8 targets, 2 catches last week.
Yeah, it was just inefficient. I don't know what was going on in Jacksonville.
Dude, hold on. If you guys watched that game closely, how many near touchdowns did they almost have?
Dude, they need to do like a
toe tap drills. We need some toe tap drills.
Get these guys a ballet class. Something.
The end of the game, we were like, they're not even going to review it. Like, that was almost a catch. Like that.
There was like 5 of those. It was crazy.
I didn't even bet that game. I had no props, but just as a fan, I was like, how many almost touchdowns did they have? It was ridiculous in the back of the end zone.
Colts, 2 games, they're averaging 287 passing yards allowed. That's 29th in the league. So I think there's just going to be a ton of opportunity to throw Texans. Texans is also really bad, but yeah.
All right. You want to hear this doozy?
What do you got?
Shout out to the folks over at Underdog for offering quarterback sacks taken. Oh yeah, because you know what?
Talking.
Let's zoom into a matchup here. While we love the Tennessee Titans to get it done in this game, I guarantee you Tannehill is going to have 4 or 5 of the worst looking sacks you've ever seen. The way that he was getting blown up last week against the Chargers. It's just like old quarterbacks when they just don't have a chance, and it's just like, oh fuck.
They do that thing where they start bracing, and then there's like they brace.
And then and
then they just stay there. They like freeze. It's like I have this dog that my dog Garth. Like when you get out to get to the leash, he's like and he doesn't know where to go. But he freezes, and that's what happens with old quarterbacks. Not to throw your boy Eli Manning under the bus, but Eli Manning towards the end, it was like, oh, you got to put this guy out of his misery.
You know what also sucks staying with Eli? This guy's an Eagles fan, dude. What do you win, like 3 games against them? Like, it was just so shitty that he has this over us.
I know. It's horrible. But, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, the nothing will ever take that season where they beat the undefeated Patriots away.
Oh, yeah.
It made the Eagles irrelevant. Tannehill, 3 sacks week 1 in a close, low-scoring game against
That
the
Cleveland
Saints.
defense is legit.
And the Chargers got to him 5 times. I do think, like, at the end of the year, as it stands right now, I think you probably have to say that, maybe they're the best defensive line in the game. They're at least in that rotation, like Niners, Cowboys, Eagles, obviously a slight tick down with all the young dogs that haven't turned into dogs yet. But, yeah, just random shot. So, yeah, massive disadvantage here to the Tennessee offensive line. Let's hope Tannehill can get it done, but I think we might see some bad sacks. So, higher than 3 sacks taken. He hasn't gone under that number yet this year. So, again, are they watching the games? I don't know.
That offensive line, they've had injury issues. They've had sucking issues.
It's going to be a fun thing to root for, as I'm rooting for the Titans to cover the game.
Yeah, you're really threading the needle there, Ryan. Hey, time for our Optimized Parlay segment, courtesy of Hall of Fame Bets. Of course, head over to Hall of Fame Bets, a.k.a. HOFBets.com. Use that code SGPN. Get 50% off your first month. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app as well. Start researching. Start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. This tool is invaluable. It is so great. It's so easy to use. Just honestly, give it a try. I would be shocked if you didn't like it. If you're like me, just diving through the stats on Pro Football Reference, you save a shit ton of time using Hall of Fame Bets. So highly, highly enjoy it when I'm putting together my degenerate parlays over here. All right, so I think we go from smallest to biggest. My parlay is 71-1. Nick, what are you looking at? What's your monster parlay at?
Damn, I didn't know it was a monster parlay.
That's all right. That's all right.
I'm at 16-1.
Okay. And then Kramer, are you above 17-1?
I have 2 options. I have an 8-1.
Okay.
And I have a 203-1.
Ooh.
All right. So why don't you start with the 8-1? Then
No. I'm not giving that out. I don't want to. I don't want to show him up. I'll let him be the small dog specialist, and I'll take 203-1.
We got the small dog sound effect for Nick.
This is the one that I have. I'm telling you, this 203-1 parlay. It feels like this is a coin flip. We're getting 203-1 for -1.
Yeah, it's great value opportunity.
I ran the numbers.
Nick, what do you got for your parlay here?
All right, so I got 4 guys, anytime touchdown.
Okay.
One of them we mentioned before, Bijan Robinson.
Oh, easy money.
Justin Jefferson.
Easy money. Well, he does have touchdown phobia a little bit.
Yeah, what is that?
Well, I can tell you exactly what that was because I was holding a +110 on him. And it
Back to the well.
Dude, back-to-back Thursday night football games, I bet on someone to score a touchdown.
Oh, no.
Week 1, it was Jamar Gibbs. Plus 105, stumbles inside the 10, walk-in touchdown. I'm watching the game out there in the lobby with Kel Dansby from the corner, another Blue Wire podcast member. He's like, I can't believe he didn't score. I was like, I could believe it. 'Cause I had $50 on him to score a touchdown. And then, of course, Justin Jefferson, who's also on my fantasy team, fumbles at the 1-yard line. So come on, JJ, get us right here. Calvin Ridley, I'm going anytime touchdown also, just because the amount of times I saw him almost score a touchdown last week. The toe tap was not being worked on that week in practice. And then I got Stephon Diggs. He's going back to Maryland, right? A little hometown vibes. I'm a big revenge game, spiteful game kind of guy. And we already know about the beef between him and Josh Allen, or the no beef, as they claim. But as a fantastic rec league quarterback myself, I know that sometimes the wide receivers get under your skin. So I'm going with those 4 guys, Jefferson, Bijan, Calvin Ridley, and Stephon Diggs, 16-1.
Ooh, all right. I like it.
I like that coming home angle. That's a solid one there. Also playing for his brother. Thoughts and prayers.
Ooh, oh, dude, this is
Tragic Magic. You got a double angle there.
We got to drop the L word on this one. That's a lot, guys.
Oh wow, you might be right. I might have to reconfigure some of these and get this motherfucker in there. All right, Sean, let's hear it.
71-1. First off, give me Damian Harris. He's plus 265 in that game. He has turned into the Bills' goal line back. We were talking about this on the DFS show. I think Cody had him in his lineup, like the play in DFS, and I like him at an anytime touchdown at plus 265. 4 red zone carries, already has a touchdown rushing. I think this is a good spot. I mean, especially if the game gets ugly, they're going to want to pound it, and they take Cook out near the goal line. So.
Yep.
Next up, he had essentially a touchdown in the Green Bay game, but it was that weird rule where if your back is to the end zone.
Heel toe. Toe heel.
You have to get your toes and your heels in, and Mac Hollins only got his toes and then his heel hit out. You could not get closer to a touchdown without actually getting one. I'm going to say he might be the number one receiver on that team. I know Drake London is better talent-wise, but they seem to really go out of their way to find Mac Hollins. On his own, I think he's plus 350, so I'm putting him in this parlay. Last but not least, going back one more time, he's had a number of touchdowns against the Dallas Cowboys in his career. Give me Zach Ertz anytime touchdown. He is Josh Dobbs' guy. He hasn't had a touchdown yet. He had 4 last year for the Cardinals in 10 games. I think he's incredibly due. If they can get some touchdowns, it's going to be Zach Ertz. Each one of those guys to get a touchdown. Parlay them together 71-1. That's.
Which one screws you?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't think of it.
Yeah, that's tough.
I like to.
You figured it out. You cracked the Rubik's Cube. All right.
Dude,
hacked the system.
I really like that one a lot.
Thank you.
I like that one a lot.
There's
71-1.
if there's one thing that has pleased me more than anything in the new world of sports betting is the anytime, because anytime touchdowns weren't really around in the past. And I think if there's one like real progression with the product, these anytime parlays or prop parlays, whatever, fun, I don't mind them, but the touchdown scoring ones just seem to hit a little better.
Well, because it's only one thing where, like, yardage, in your mind, maybe it seems easier, but essentially, like Nick Chubb. I had Nick Chubb over rushing yards. His knee got blown out.
Yeah.
But if you think about it.
Maybe not
like,
a great example.
I'm saying, no, my point is, if you're betting the rushing yards and stuff like that, the higher, the over, whatever it is, you're essentially like, all right, he's got to have 15 carries that are all positive. Where the anytime touchdown to me feels a little bit more, I'm more willing to do the long shot stuff in it because you need one play. You just need one broken play, one opportunity. Zach Ertz, 5 touchdowns against the Cowboys in his career.
And also, real quick, staying on that, right before we started recording, I told you about how you guys are the first touchdown kings. I mean, the amount of times that you guys just put out fucking first touchdown scores, and I'm like, these guys have a time machine? Like, what is happening?
Yes.
You're talking about like 40-1s, 30-1s.
Roddy Bell, 40-1.
I mean, absolutely remarkable. But the amount of times that I'll bet someone for first touchdown, and then Ryan, I don't bet him at all for any time, and I'm like, why not? Like, why not? You know, maybe $50 on a first time, first TD score, and then throw like 25 on the anytime or something like that. You know, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think that I feel like this question comes up a lot when people are learning or they're new. They're like, so should I also bet the anytime? Like, how does this work? Should I bet the 2 touchdowns as well? I certainly think you got to sprinkle the anytime if you like him on the first touchdown.
The Ronnie Bell numbers were insane. There were a couple like Australian listeners that had him at 150-1 because they were just asleep at the wheel with the injury news and they bet it early. And it's crazy. Some of these foreign books. I feel like I'm going to get an invitation down to Australia and just never come back. So if you got,
I feel like it's either New Zealand or Australia.
Yeah.
We have a couple listeners who routinely paste like really awesome odds because, you know.
Shout out to Macon Bacon. He's a butcher in New Zealand who always listens to the show. Great guy.
I don't know if you know this, Sean, but they're on the other side of the earth. So the time is different over there. All right.
Oh my God!
Blowing my mind right.
203-1. Guess how many things are in this parlay?
I'm going to say 12.
I'm going to go with 5.
2.
No. Look at this.
Two betting items. 4 things have to happen.
Yeah.
Justin Fields, 2 touchdowns. Okay. He's going. What was the quote, Sean?
Yes, sir.
He's just going to play
F
some.
it, I'm going to play ball.
F it. I'm just going to play ball. Justin Fields, 2 touchdowns. Like you mentioned earlier, debuting Kendre Miller, someone who didn't exactly blow it out in camp, around the red zone. What do they love to deploy? Taysom Hill.
Coach's son.
2 touchdowns, Taysom Hill. 2 touchdowns, Justin Fields. 203-1.
I mean,
If you,
Oh my God!
What else are you gonna do with that money?
The guy, I know we can. I know we're on to something, Ryan. When the producer behind the glass pops his head up, he's like, "Hey, what's going on over there? Guys, giving out 200 to ones." That's how I know we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, look, it's a head turner, right? What is it they call an attractive lady?
Yeah,
It's just whiplash.
Oh yes,
that's what this
broken necks everywhere. Ryan.
Calling this parlay whiplash.
Okay.
Oh, God, this is so good. I'm gonna bet both of these. This is.
See, now
you
this
have
is,
to. You have to.
Welcome to my problem, because every time Ryan and I host these shows, and I'm just like get amped up. I'm like, all right, yeah. Well, we talked about it in the show. I gotta bet it, because then if I don't bet it and it hits, I'm gonna kill. That's when I get really mad. So yeah. I didn't want to share this with you, but I did also win with Ronnie Bell. But I didn't want to rain on your parade. But like. Yeah, there are times where it's like, oh yeah, that's a good play. That makes a lot of sense.
That's a good play.
All right, time for the first touchdown bets for Sunday night football. And again, we will be doing our favorite first touchdown bets for the rest of the Sunday slate over on VSiN. Check that out, 9 o'clock Pacific, YouTube TV, vsin.com. And use vsin.com. Use your promo code SGP. Sign up for VSiN, because we're going to be doing a promotion. Basically, VSiN is running a competition between the shows. Whoever gets the most signups, they get a $1,000 Super Bowl future that you can put on anything. You have to use it as a Super Bowl future. So we're going to crowdsource this. So if all the listeners get behind, if we end up winning that, we will
buy a share.
Yes.
You get to vote on what we bet on.
And then if we hit, you get a slice.
Yeah,
so however many people end up signing up over at VSiN using the promo code SGP, and we'll figure out how we're going to collect. We'll get a sign-up form going. But VSiN.com, promo code SGP. Sign up for VSiN. First touchdowns. I'll kick it off here. Kramer, we had Kenny Pickett before. I'm running him back at 28 to 1. I still
Let's go.
Nick also on the Kenny Pickett thing. He's a guy who scrambles.
Yep.
He is QB sneak friendly. 28 to 1 for a quarterback is bonkers. And then Ryan, you turned me on to this one. I was maybe going to go Darnell Washington, but I saw that he got a little banged up in practice this week. Sounds like he still will play, but Connor Hayward is the other tight end behind Freiermuth. Hasn't seen a ton of work, but those guys are always fun near the goal line.
He's seen a red zone target.
Yes, 40 to 1 for Connor Hayward. On the other side, this is crazy to me. Austin Hooper is 16 to 1. Now, I know they drafted Michael Mayer. They're high on him, but he has not been getting many looks, many targets. Austin Hooper has been the guy getting a bunch of looks. And then last but not least, I'm getting a little cute here, but 50 to 1. He has a red zone target. He has 4 targets overall. Amir Abdullah, backup running back essentially for the Las Vegas Raiders, 50 to 1. I know it's going to be a big Josh Jacobs game, but I can see a world where they're driving down, long drive. Jacobs, hey, take a break, screen pass to Abdullah. He breaks it a little bit. I mean, you saw how they were struggling with Nick Chubb, even with Jerome Ford once he came in there. I wouldn't be surprised. Abdullah, the way the Steelers defense has struggled with running backs, 50 to 1 feels like a fun play for me for sure.
And I think, maybe the James White in this version of that offense. I think also just the way
they seem like they like him as the pass catcher.
The way they're vulnerable, though, I'd say watch out for Zamir White, because he's also like he would be the guy, the thumper. All right, what do you got? It was Kenny Pickett.
Yeah. So I picked one for each team. It's something that I always tell people about. Usually when it's like the Super Bowl, I always like to say, because the last thing you want is for you to correctly pick who's going to score the first touchdown. Like, say you say Travis Kelce, but just so happens that, like, the Eagles get the ball first. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, have a dog on each side that you want running.
Yeah, Kramer and I like to usually do 2 and 2. Chop up the unit.
I pioneered the chop up your unit 4 ways.
Little sprinkle on everything.
Generally, I like to split it 2 each, unless the Cowboys are involved. Then I'll maybe go 3-1 or 0-4. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Stay tuned. So you like Pickett on the Steelers?
I had Pickett also.
28 to 1 is a great price.
Yeah, that just jumped out to me. And you brought up a good take about how he's pretty mobile. Like, he likes to run and whatnot. And, he's A lot of hype in the preseason. I got behind the Steeler hype.
Oh.
But also, I'll say this, as a guy who is manufacturing a lot of that Steelers hype and breathing hot air into it, they've played two of the, I think, best defenses right now in the league in Cleveland and San Francisco. So this will be a great test. It is a road game, but somewhat friendly environment. If the Steelers offense can't get going against the Raiders, then I'm going to be more concerned about my Steelers.
Without a doubt, yeah. That was something I was going to bring up, too, that he went up against two of the best 6 defenses in the league. And they, like I was talking about before with TJ Watt, those teams, the Browns and the Niners, have one guy on that line that's like a top 5 first ballot Hall of Famer right now playing. So I went with Kenny Pickett. And then on the other side, I just went a little, I like to call, anytime I pick a favorite, fellas, I like to call it 4 condom sex. It's very conservative, very safe. I went with Devontae Adams, plus 600, first touchdown. It's Sunday Night Football. I just think, the premier alpha on your team, I could just see it happening, start him up early.
Yeah, I mean, if you are Jimmy Garoppolo, who are you throwing to?
Yeah.
It's really that simple. It's just, when you're playing chalk on these, to your point, find the narrative you like. It's simple, but it's hard to argue he's not going to get some red zone looks.
I'll tell you who's going to throw to. The guy Adams, 1 target in week 1. Ooh. Jacoby Myers, 3 targets. He's back. He looks like he's going to be good to go this weekend.
He got concussed pretty bad.
He's full practice, so
nice.
I expect him to be cleared.
Cobwebs cleared out of his old noggin.
He's 10-1. This does kind of profile as a alpha pass catcher, although I pivoted off Adams to Myers. I mean, so much usage, and clearly they went out and signed him. He knows the offense, and they're using him for a reason. Also, Raiders defense. The Kenny Pickett sucks, but Matt Canada sucks more, and I think you have to throw a little bit on the Raiders defense. They're 30-1 because why not? I've already hit a defense this year. I wouldn't be surprised to see another one in the Death Star, and I'm going to stay with it. Theme, this is play the defenses. Steelers also 30-1. TJ Watt out there. They scored 2 touchdowns. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. 2
touchdowns. They won a game that they did not run a play in the red zone.
I was shocked.
They won the game. They didn't run a play in the red zone.
I was shocked, one, that was his first defensive touchdown, I think, in his career. And then 2, he's already set the Steelers' all-time sack record. That is bonkers.
And by the way,
considering how many great Steelers there have been.
That's how you win the Defensive Player of the Year. You score touchdowns, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, if you think about that, to your point, Sean, he broke the Steelers' franchise record in sacks, and he's missed like a good amount of games too. It's not like he's been playing all these games.
11 he's missed. They're 1-10 in those games.
Yeah, it's insane.
We have I gave out Raiders defense, Jacoby Myers. Give me the Steelers defense 30-1, and the last one, I think the alpha in the red zone for the Steelers is Pat Freiermuth. And much like Jacoby Myers,
price,
I didn't want to get cute with it. As much as Pickens is like, dude, that he's going to score a lot of big touchdowns. I just don't think it's going to be the short, congested stuff. And so I went chalky and defenses. Give me Pat Freiermuth 12-1 to finish off the card there.
Yeah, I always love a good tight end there.
You do, yeah.
Yes.
Usually it's a backup tight end, maybe. And by the way, I
got my Connor Hayward in there.
Can I give out a player to watch in the future?
Sure.
Because we love backup tight ends, and while right now he's not the backup for Las Vegas, I'm scrolling down to find his current price for this week. Jesper Horsted.
Never
he's the
heard of
third
this guy.
string tight end on the Raiders. He was an All-American at the FCS level for Princeton, and he was one of the offensive players of the year too at that level. And so the second we have any sort of injury to Austin Hooper or Michael Mayer, we're getting. And God help us all if now I have to play Horsted this weekend just in case.
What is his price?
75-1.
Oh, you have that's an auto
Will he
play.
be active on Sunday night?
18-1 anytime. Holy shit.
Oh, man. That is bonkers.
Oh my God.
McDaniels generally has a third tight end, yes.
Okay.
You could just see it now. It's like 3rd and goal at the 1. They got the heavy set, misdirection,
play
action. Oh, is that the left tackle? No, it's the
jump
third.
pass.
It's the third tight end.
Yeah, that when you misidentify him as the offensive lineman, then you know you're onto something.
Yeah.
And DraftKings sportsbooks, what are you doing? Let us bet offensive lineman as first touchdown. The fact that these are not listed is criminal.
And
Let
last
me
thing,
give you money.
check out the Prime StatCast if you want to be able to see which guy you have for first touchdown. They put the names on it. It's perfect. So you can identify your obscure third string tight end.
I was talking to Jared Smith on Twitter. I'm like, they need to have a player prop tracker on that Amazon Prime where you come in and you like, all right, I'm on Jacoby Myers receiving yards, Abdullah catches, and then it would just highlight the players and then keep a running tab during the game.
It does a pretty good job.
I can tell it's good because Nick's like, yeah, that would be
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, why not, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Amazon can figure that out.
yeah, and they got the money for it. Like, hire some software people. Let's get it going. There's $1 billion idea.
You just gotta like play. They already have like team functionality, just like players. Yeah, Sean was anti the StatCast at first, but I think if you actually watched it, it's kind of already doing that. When a guy gets a catch, it will show you like how many targets they've had, how many catches. So yeah, I mean they obviously understand gambling exists.
Yeah,
I mean,
gambling, fantasy.
How
like
long before Amazon has a sports book?
Well, hopefully one day, Ryan, we will be sponsored by the Amazon Sportsbook. Hey, thank you everyone for tuning in. Appreciate it as always. Smash that subscribe button. Hey, if you hit on some of these first touchdowns we've been giving out, why not toss us a nice 5-star rating review? Of course, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. Get in, check out our bonus episode, Tales from Vegas. Of course, all the pick sheets. Again, we post the NFL picks on the website, but then if you miss some of the props or whatever, you're driving, operating heavy machinery, you want to go back, we got all the sheets there in the Patreon as well. In the Patreon Pick'em, this week we're giving away the SGPN Fantasy Football jersey, the Kramer edition. So a lot of good reasons to sign up over there. Big thanks to Nick. Nick, where can people check you out?
This has been a long time coming, man. I feel really excited about being on here. Thank you for the call up. At Nick Day is 10 you can find me on all social media outlets, and my show is called Veterans Minimum, one of the best sports betting vibes on the internet.
Yes. I like your cornering the vibes market.
Big vibes guy. Big vibes guy.
Smart.
Well,
like it.
It's important too. Like you actually make bets, so that's you're way ahead of the game.
You already separated yourself from 90% of the people making sports gambling content.
How did you get into sports gambling?
I saw that it picked up momentum over the last couple of years, and I dove in.
Well, I lost my job as a sideline reporter, and then I developed a passion for sports gambling.
Yeah, just as that started booming, for sure. Nah, I also had you two guys on there. We kind of had
a lot of fun
over the summer, and we kind of talked about these funny stories.
And
so
Nick knows NFL, also big UFC guy, so I know he covers a bunch of the fights, so check that stuff out as well.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money green. He's Ryan.
Let's go, Sean.
Kramer. Let it ride.